What comes to mind when you think of successful YouTubers in the last 2 years? 10-minute videos, high production value, vlogging, clickbait. What about, let's say for example, a 1-minute comedy skit making fun of people who don't wear a jacket in the winter? No?
Hey, it's me, Pillow Guy!
God damn.
This is Gus Johnson. He's a 24-year-old comedian and he's been doing YouTube for almost a decade. He makes short comedy skits, music, and frequently collaborates with other YouTubers on the platform, as well as co-hosting a podcast, and he makes videos like this. From a glance, this doesn't look like very view-worthy content in 2019. But no, he's been racking in millions of views over his long time on YouTube, with short comedy skits all around the 2-minute mark, with really no editing required, gaining a faithful audience and growing his brand to the fullest. But although Gus has been on YouTube for almost a decade, he's only really grown to fame in the last year. And whilst there are reasons for that path of growth and success, the content Gus has been making over his years on the website isn't something you'd usually see from a 1 million subscriber YouTube channel in 2019. His videos are short, raw, unique, and it's honestly surprising that YouTube is even promoting this content. The videos Gus has been producing and the success he's gained from it has not only showed his alternative style of growing a YouTube channel in this day and age, but also proves the cookie-cutter YouTube road to fame isn't the only road to fame. So what makes him different and what makes his channel so successful? These were some of Gus's first videos uploaded to his channel back in 2010. All comedy skits, or at least his first attempts. But what's so noticeable about these videos and the videos uploaded during his college days are how similar they are to his current videos. Seeing how raw and timeless they are, they never aged, especially compared to the majority of content uploaded to YouTube. Gus Johnson doesn't fall behind in memes and internet humor. Gus creates his own styles and form of comedy. Gus has been making comedy skits for almost a decade and he never stopped, going full-time into his 4th year on the platform. Of course, the humor and comedic timing of each skit evolved over time. The only thing that really changed and needed to change was the camera quality. I mean, you really know this is from 2010. Every skit is so simple, so minimal, yet so appealing to millions of people, going from the most bizarre of characters to more relatable humor, to mocking mainstream content on YouTube. There's no repetition, every skit is new and fresh, new characters, new storylines. The only thing that stays the same is Gus's charm and personality. Take this video uploaded a few months back. It's called Godless Country. It's literally just Gus walking around his parents' backyard in the rain for 5 minutes. So plain and straightforward, not something you would see as entertaining, but somehow Gus makes that entertaining and enjoyable for millions of people to watch. Not many YouTubers can pull off playing the character of a man just strapped with pillows to his body for 5 minutes and make that entertaining, especially as a series of videos. Just a quick glance at his library of videos and it's obvious that there's something very different about it. I mean, who in their right mind decides to make a 1-minute long video about buying a guitar for a YouTube video as a tax write-off? In comparison to other YouTubers self-proclaimed as comedians, this is honestly a goldmine of authenticity. Take this recent sketch from Lily Singh or Superwoman titled Expectations vs. Reality, Self-Care, which contains around 5 different skits all based around that topic, just your average YouTube comedy sketch. In the opening skit, she plays off a sort of nobody likes me self-deprecation character during a mock-up therapy session.
Do you think I'm funny and nice? Please think I'm funny and nice.
Which is funny to some people, I guess. But this pattern continues throughout most of the other influencers who base a lot of their content off quote-unquote comedy. That pattern being relatable, over-exaggerated humor. The same forms and types of comedy used over and over and over and over again. I guess what I'm talking about when you get to the roots of it is what's called Instagram comedy, seeing as most of the popular comedians on YouTube are really just migrated Vine stars and Instagram comedians expanding their brand to other platforms, which really shows how small the comedy scene is on YouTube. Whereas compared with a channel like Gus Johnson, his videos and comedy stay diverse and almost create a new subgenre. There's no constant flow of relatable humor, self-deprecation with no real punchlines. There's none of that. This group of comedians all share very similar characteristics in their content, but while this area of YouTube, one of the largest and most prominent, has shaped its own audience, that it may not appeal to everyone, and quite clearly hasn't. Something clicked with Gus's videos, whether it was an open market and the demand for more humorous short videos for a different community, or because of a switch in the algorithm that caused his videos to gain more watch time as a percentage rather than a timestamp. Either way, he blew up in a matter of months back in 2018, making his mark in the YouTube community, and now creating one of his own. The last time we've seen any content anywhere close to this was the era of Filthy Frank, and that's saying something. I wouldn't describe his videos as having too much correlation to him, considering the more lighthearted humor, and I wouldn't say he replaced Filthy Frank, but I honestly think he's taken a large portion of the audience under his wing, having so much parallels in styles of videos, and the more alternative version of a skit. Gus Johnson's channel gives a gust of fresh air into what's currently the only mainstream category of comedy on YouTube. He's been evolving his content over many years online, and from the looks of it has many more to come. He's even got his own show on Comedy Central with almost monthly episodes, and collaborates with other creators like Smosh, and people now creating similar content to him like Charlie's, or even his own brother Sven Johnson. He's been a guest on podcasts like Cold Ones, the Hate Tree podcast, and even has one of his own with his friend Eddy Burback. The originality of Gus's content has spawned a devoted fanbase with a subreddit of almost 20,000 users. I mean, speaking of originality, he even wrote and created his own outro music. A decade of work in the making, Gus Johnson is something different that most popular YouTubers don't have: authenticity. And it looks like that authenticity is finally paying off. If you haven't heard of Gus and want to check out his content, I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll hand over the outro to Mr. Johnson himself.
Alright guys, that was frickin' rad. Make sure to assault that like button, leave a rad comment, and never give up hope.